Something that's helped me greatly get out of the tailspin of despair at times. And again, I just want to stress that I only feel the despair, the hopelessness, the downness, not coincidentally, at times of fragility, at times of weakness. And moments of weakness, when do they come? They come when I'm sleep deprived. They come when I haven't been doing the physical activity I need to be doing. They come when I haven't been meditating as I should, and I've just been mindlessly going about my days, and then stuff just accumulates and accumulates. And that emotional sweeping things under the psychological rug is so real to me. And what's also real to me is that it piles up, and then you can say the residue, the stench, the byproduct of that is that toxic behavior in so many instances. I'm not saying that's the reason for everybody's toxic behavior, but I am saying that it is a huge reason for it. One thing that's helping me, though, even be stronger in the moments of weakness, in the moments of fragility, is I've adopted the fighter's attitude. Or I'm trying to adopt the fighter's attitude. I like watching a lot of UFC recently, of late, and it's not on some macho, man, men beating up man, yeah, man. It's not on that kind of shit. These motherfuckers in the UFC at the top tier, or whatever mixed martial arts, whether it's ONE FC, whatever, their attitudes are amazing. Their work ethic is amazing. The amount of, you could say, punishment these motherfuckers take is amazing. And there's something so wonderfully sociopathic about this, what I'm calling the fighter's attitude, where you're purposely putting yourself in harm's way, not because you want to be hurt, but because that's just how it goes. It's so analogous to life to me. Life is gonna punch you and fuck you up, or it's gonna try to, I should say. And sometimes it's unfair. The events happening to you are above your weight class. You know, it's some heavyweight shit going on, and you're only a fucking featherweight in this bitch with your strength. Okay, but the point is that if you look at it like a fighter, where I'm gonna keep on pushing forward despite getting my ass kicked, and I have every intention of kicking ass back. You know, a lot of us, that's that victim shit, right? That's that victim shit. It's rare for any top fighter so there's some fighters that are delusional and that they make excuses when they lose, and they don't ever, that's why they're not number one, number two, number three, number four, because they always are, not always, but when they lose, they can't grow from it. They don't have any lessons to learn from it. The best ones talk about the stuff they've learned. They talk about the new things that they're doing and what they're doing now to aspire to be better. That's just the attitude that I want. I want to look at life like, I know it's going to kick my ass. I know it's going to try to kick my ass. I know that if I had some magical way to do so, I would feel amazing all the time. I would never feel weak, but that's just not how it works. You have to work for strength. You have to work for power. You have to give energy to get energy. And you have to accept that you're going to take damage. And some people just roll over and don't want to fight back. And I felt defeated a couple of years ago. I ain't gonna lie. I felt defeated in a sense, like, the reason why I felt defeated was because I didn't want to fight anymore. I felt like I have these views and beliefs that I really do believe, and I'm just so at odds with the world. And it felt like no matter how much I tried to make myself clear, no matter how much I explained myself, no matter how much effort I put into being harmonious and loving and considerate, it was like just people in my world were slapping me in the face. Strangers, people I know from the whole spectrum of from stranger to loved one, you know? And it kind of is on some, well, you know what? I just want to give up then. I want to give up because we're making it so hard, but it shouldn't be this hard. But that's where I was wrong. I'm not wrong about the actuality of people's toxic and maladaptive behavior. But what I was wrong about was the word should. How dare I speak unto nature what should be as if I have any control over it to begin with? How dare I be annoyed and aggravated with reality, with actuality, when life never told us that it had to be any kind of way? Even if everybody except for you is an asshole, yeah, it'd be better if they weren't like that. Yeah, they shouldn't be like that if we are actually striving for more evolved standards of decency, more harmony. But as far as like life is concerned, it never promised you anything. Do you see nature? Do you see how it goes down in nature, man? It's every man for himself, quote unquote. Every creature for himself. It is brutal as fuck. And even with history with man, with human beings, historically, it's been brutal as fuck. There's been just think about living in a village and then somebody says your wife is a witch just because. And now they're burning her at the stake. The fuck? Just think about being a kid born into a plantation, seeing your mother whipped and raped. The fuck? Just think about being in America and take race away, take whatever other motivations away. Some people are just murderous, pure murderous intention. Imagine waking up to somebody in your home and they killing people in your family and all that good stuff from serial killers. It's brutal as fuck. And we think that life favors us because a string of good luck has happened for us. And then we sort of just drown out the fact that so many other people are experiencing the utmost misery and violence arbitrarily. A dope scene, I think the movie's called Instinct. It's with Cuba Gooding Jr. and my man, it's so racist. I want to call him Dennis Hopper. He's not Dennis Hopper. What's that motherfucker's name? I want to remember it now. I'm going to remember it. Anthony Hopkins. That's his name. Anthony Hopkins. There's a scene. Anthony Hopkins was basically a sort of male version of Jane Goodall. And if you don't know who Jane Goodall is, she is is it a zoologist? I forget what the proper name is called. But she's a scientist and she studies apes, and she's very well known for living amongst primates and studying them. And so, well, certain kinds of primates, 'cause I guess we're primates. Anyway, Anthony Hopkins in this movie Instinct, he killed poachers when they came and killed the apes, or where they were trying to steal the monkeys and whatnot. And so he's in jail, and Cuba Gooding Jr. is, I forget if he's his therapist or something like that, but he's in there, he's talking to Anthony Hopkins, and he's just grilling him and interrogating him and trying to figure out Anthony Hopkins' psychology, whatever. But Anthony Hopkins is actually the one who has the sharpness, the keenness, the leverage, so to speak. And so to get to the point, there's this scene where they're in this room. Imagine an interrogation room in a cliche police film. And Cuba Gooding Jr. is talking to Anthony Hopkins. And then so Anthony Hopkins gets Cuba Gooding Jr. in this chokehold. He goes kind of crazy on him and goes wild. And then he asks him, he can like kill him in that moment. And he asks him, what have I taken away? And Cuba Gooding Jr. is writing down all these things. And he's like, I forget what he says. I'm sorry I'm ruining this and I'm all over the fucking place. But Cuba Gooding Jr. is giving all these answers, and he's wrong. He's wrong about each of them. And then at the end of it, he finally gets the answer right. And with the answer that Anthony Hopkins was looking for, he's like, when he was saying, what did I take away? Cuba Gooding Jr. is like my illusions. This illusion of security that I have. We all have this illusion of security simply because we've had a string of good luck in our life. And fine. And like, it's not about, oh no, so, oh, what do I do? Woe is me. The point about that is that this shit, life never told us it wasn't fucking rough. Everybody is a walking force of nature. Even a little frail 130-pound boy is a force of nature. You know why? Because that boy, if he happens to get a firearm, could kill a bunch of people. It's not about just who's stronger physically anymore. That is all out the window. It could go down just from car accidents. It can go down just from bankruptcy. It can go down from all kinds of things. The punches, the actual physical damage, or the major psychological damage. Tragedy is inevitable for so many people. And even I would argue that it's inevitable for even those who have a good life, because eventually you will pass away, or your loved ones will see you pass away. And what a tragic thing that is. I don't give a fuck. We can act like it's not. It's sad. It's sad. But that's okay. Because who are we except victims of existence, quote unquote. So I'm not saying, therefore, play a victim. I'm saying, therefore, fight. What I respect about animals so much, like, take cats, for instance. Take a cat. I remember I used to think very lowly of cats. I didn't favor them at all until I worked at an animal shelter, and then I began loving them. I don't own any, but one day I hope to own one. I hope to have one, I should say. And what's dope about cats is that no matter how sweet they are, no matter how much they've been domesticated, they're willing to fight on a dime, damn near any creature, even dogs too. But even to their detriment. Like, there's a little dog I remember in this video barking at a crocodile or alligator, whichever one, and he got his ass eaten. And that sucks. That sucks a lot. My point is that they don't intellectualize themselves out of the fight. They don't intellectualize themselves out of the fighter's attitude. They don't tend to have the woe is me self-pity shit, right? And that's the downside of the power of thought. That's the downside of self-awareness. There's a lot of awesomeness from self-awareness. A lot of awesomeness. A lot of awesomeness from consciousness, this unique thing that we humans have. However, the downside is that a lot of times we're not letting our instincts kick in. The unconscious is not deciding things for us. Instead, we let the world decide who we are, and we lose our fight. And then some people who have the fight are fighting for all the wrong reasons. Especially so many people that are just seeking to fight the weak. I think that's the most cowardly thing in the fucking world, when people just want to pick on. And I'm not talking about like pure, I'm not talking about physicality, punches being thrown with human beings. I'm talking about the social battle. This social battle we have, where there's this subtle tug of war for dominance and for hierarchical high ground. I want to have a fight in me no matter how bad things go, because I can. That's why. Because if you choose to change the way you eat, you could dramatically change the composition of your body. If you choose to be more sincere, you could dramatically change the events of your own life and somebody else's. And if you choose to have fight in you, then you're less likely to be defeated by the bullshit, the toxicity, by the unfortunate circumstances that are going to inevitably come upon either yourself or the people in your world. Now, the downside to this, I think, is you will ostracize a lot of people. Yeah. Some people, when you stand up for yourself, don't want to be in your world anymore. Some people, when you stand up for yourself, no longer want to be in your world. Fuck them. Fuck apostrophe EM. Fuck them, man. Easier said than done, no doubt. Easier said than done. We have these relationships with many people that we're just dependent on each other for all kinds of things, not just emotional and psychological reasons. It comes to the point where, like, you might be sharing a fucking household with them. You might have a car with them. You might have something that tethers you to them that causes all kinds of complications. You can't just say bon voyage in this motherfucker to them. Yeah. I still think, as I respect about fighters, is that they're smart too, man. The top ones, like, there's this notion about them being brutes, just be primitive. I thought so too. Like, it was like, ooh, all brawn, no brain. Nah, man. There's something very admirable about top tier fighters. Their attitudes, their commitments. I think we can adopt that and transfer it to the non-violent social realm. 100% I do. That keep pushing forward kind of mentality. And if you get your ass knocked out, well, that's how it go. Guess what? You probably gonna get up again. They all get up again. It doesn't make any sense for us to be anything less than cordial and respectful and civil towards each other. It doesn't make any sense. But of course, since we are such flawed creatures, that's how we're going to be. Because it's accepted. And I mention this a lot, but it really does have a lot to do with, also it has a lot to do with, if it doesn't make dollars, then it don't make sense, right? Ha ha ha. If it doesn't make dollars, then it don't make sense. Fuck you. That's why our political climate is the way it is right now. I cannot stand watching political commentators speak with people that have contrary opinions. It's absurd. It's such a fucking joke. It's pure theater. It's such a game. You're clearly just trying to win, and people eat it up. They want to see all the titles. So-and-so destroys John. The fuck? Where are the adults? I understand these dumbass young kids wanting to see such a thing. What did Cornel West used to say? We're well adjusted to being maladjusted, I think. And if you didn't, it's still true. We're well adjusted to being maladjusted. Nobody wants to be honest. Nobody wants to comment on the fact that this ain't right. That you know what's funny about people? This is what's funny about us humans. We claim we want an awesome life, the best kind of life. Therefore, we get the degrees, they get the house, the kids, the this and that. But we don't give two fucks about how we conduct ourselves amongst each other. We're so arrogant that we think that we can behave any kind of way and it's fine. It's not fine. It's not. That's why you and I have to be the change we want to see in the world. I'm trying my best to let go of expectations of people while still having standards, right? Now, that's a standard is nearly synonymous with an expectation, but I think it's not quite exact. I can have standards and desire standards and I can demand standards amongst the people around me, but I can still at the same time destroy or let go of my expectation that they'll ever meet those standards. Because you can only do so much. You cannot control people. You cannot make them believe things. You cannot make them see the world in a particular kind of way. You can suggest it. You can attempt to persuade them and just hope and cross your fingers that it penetrates. And I do not think that it's a pointless endeavor. I don't think it's a pointless endeavor to do that. I think that when you attempt to hip somebody to a healthier perspective, to a healthier way of doing things, even if they aren't receptive in that moment, or even if they are just feigning receptivity and they don't change anything about their behavior, I do believe in the seeds that are planted. It's happened to me. A lot of commentary from certain intellectuals that I heard when I was 18, 19, 20 that I just rejected because I had my fingers in my ears and and I wanted to believe that how I was taught was the right way and what I believed was the right thing. Eventually, when I just wanted to be honest with myself, fully honest, and not believe stuff because I just wanted to, but rather because it made complete and utter sense to me, like it felt fully compatible with me, I eventually came to agree and see the light with a lot of stuff that people were saying. And it wasn't that now I'm on their team. I'm not on anybody's fucking team. I'm on team health. I'm on the team of harmony and the team of civility and respectfulness and growth and development. That's the team I'm on. There's no person. There's a lot of intellectuals that I respect and that I like what they say. But there's nobody, sort of like how it's going down with our president. Even if Obama were to do the stuff that Trump is doing, I'd be like, fuck Obama. I'd be like, hell no, man. If Obama was to be lying out of his ass and was to be narcissistic, like, yeah, you better love your president. I gave you all that, $91 billion and you didn't. Throwing paper towels to Puerto Ricans and shit. If Obama had something called Obama University and it was like complete bullshit and it was actually fraudulent and all these other kinds of fraudulent activities and these lies and deception and his clear distraction, if he was doing all that stuff, you could say Obama, drone strikes and other things. I'm saying Obama because I did like Obama. I do like Obama. But even with Obama, I don't understand how people can't like these figures and with a healthy distance though, while still having a place in yourself that you allow criticism of them. Like there's no intellectual that I hold in such high regard. There's no one that I hold in such high regard that they're above criticism, that they're godly to me. And I don't think anybody should be so godly to you. I feel like if somebody has earned it because they're consistently a particular kind of amazing, they're consistently a role model, and they've proved it time and again. But the moment that they do something absurd, call out that absurd shit. No man is above that kind of criticism. No person is. I don't give a fuck how much they're your hero. I hate that shit. They're my hero, so I never looked at this flaw, that flaw. This, like, knock it off, man. What an unfair fucking expectation. There you go. What an absurd standard that they can do anything and get away with it just because they've in the past displayed and convinced you that they're this particular kind of person and they have this particular kind of philosophy. Okay, cool. If an intellectual then comes out and says something like, because because even though blacks are inferior, I think that blah blah. What the huh? No, buddy. Well, it looks like, and it's the thing. It's a case by case basis. I'll say that, hey, everything you said made sense prior to that, but then you said there's one thing that didn't make sense to me. And okay, or it's completely utterly racist. That's a very extreme example. But I mean, like, it's like scripture. There's a lot of scripture that's really good. There's a lot of scripture, especially, I'm not even going to say especially in the New Testament. Ecclesiastes is a dope book in the Bible. It's really good. I like a lot of Peter. I like a lot of James. I like a lot of the stuff Paul did in his letters. A lot of the stuff he was talking about. But that doesn't make it a perfect book to me. Just because there's a lot of good in it. That doesn't make you a perfect person to me. Just because there's a lot of good in you. Knock it off with this needing people to be perfect. Needing books. Needing characters. Putting them on this fucking pedestal. If we all just acknowledge we're trying to do our best. If we were actually trying to do our best. If we were all just trying to do our best. Take the good with the good and take the bad. Throw the bad away. Talk about the bad. Consider the bad. And if we agree to disagree that, hey, I don't think this is bad. You think this is bad? Great. Well, I give my reasons. You gave your reasons. And then I guess, well, we'll have to figure it out. Apparently that takes too much mental energy. Which I also understand because everybody's exhausted. People are fucked in a way. Momentum is huge. Momentum is such a huge aspect to behavior. Momentum is essentially habit in a way, but it's like, it's unlikely that if you keep mindlessly comporting yourself in a particular kind of way and thinking in a particular kind of way, it's very unlikely that you'll ever break out of it unless some kind of, that's why it takes trauma a lot of times to knock people out of their denial, out of their delusion. It takes something to rock their world to make them see. It takes a force to knock you out of your momentum of negativity, your momentum of toxicity. Momentum has a lot to do with it. And momentum has a lot to do with the positivity. If you want a positive momentum, man, you better try to keep that shit. Try to keep it precious. That's so precious. It's such a precious thing to be lucky enough to be having a series of good actions that were consciously made by you. And we often allow that to be compromised out of this sense of compromise with other people. I'm coming closer to a place where if you aren't trying to make as much sense as I'm trying to make, then shut the fuck up. Why should I listen to you if what you're saying is coming from this ill-thought, egotistical, self-centered, presumptuous place, as opposed to logical, reasonable, all things considered kind of place? If you're not trying to put the same mental effort into comprehension as I am, shut the fuck up. Now here's the thing. You can make sense. I think somebody who could care less, you know what it is? Kind of like a clock, a broken clock is right twice out of the day and what have you. I'm not saying that just because you don't put massive mental effort into your comprehension that you can't be right about things. I'm just saying that if I'm thinking about this, that, and you're only thinking about just one aspect, and you think that one aspect just completely overshadows everything I'm considering, shut the fuck up. No. Out of niceness and courteousness, I used to just sort of give credence to somebody's perspective. I'm talking about somebody's perspective that's really trying to tear down my own. Not somebody that's just harmoniously and civil and with civility is trying to have a discussion with me and is trying to be reasonable. And if they're falling short in a reasonable civil discussion where they're just trying to have understanding, that's different. You can be as stupid as you want. And I hope you'll let me be as stupid as I want if we're just trying to solve it together. But there's some people that try to challenge you just because they want to fucking challenge you for its own sake, because they want to feel smart, because they want to feel wise, because they feel as if their age means something, because they feel as if you have a lack of credibility because you don't have X, Y, and Z, so therefore you can't be right no matter how much sense you're making. Look, listen, okay, gotcha. Fuck you. Word up. Fuck you. And we can just not talk. We could just not be in each other's world. That's fine. That is completely fine. But if you're ever ready to be dedicated to reasonability and civility, then we can get it going. We don't have that objective, though. We do not have that objective. I know it's hard to get out of your own way. It's very hard to get out of your own way. It's a process. It's a challenge, man. But the way I see it, what's the point of superficially having all kinds of people in your life and all these, you got your nice cars, your nice this, your nice that, but everybody's just artificial as fuck, unreasonable as fuck, therefore stupid as fuck. And let me just make something clear. I'm stupid as fuck, but I constantly want to do something about it. And to me, that's another way of saying I strive to harness humility, because no matter how much I know, I for damn sure know I don't know everything. I'll never know everything. And no matter how much I might say that might make sense, I'm definitely going to say something that doesn't make sense. I have blind spots. No matter how many blind spots I don't have, I definitely have some. That's humility. That's recognizing I'm stupid. You don't recognize that you're stupid. That's why you're so fucking stupid. And you'll continue to be stupid. And I swear to you, No one is even in my head when I say that. It's just so many people. It's too many people. It's nobody specific. It's everybody. Fuck. It's everybody, man. All right. This was a little bit more, what is it, hostile. A little hostile on this one. Sorry. It's all good, though. I love y'all. And, Cleopatra coming at ya. Yo, peace out. I'll talk to y'all later, all right?